All right, so now it is time for our workbook pages. So we're doing 10.8. So we're going to be open to journal pages 378 and 379. Um, let's just take a look over here at the step in while we're on the page. You don't need to write anything down, but if you want, you can even just cross out the number line because we're not really going to use it unless you'd like to use it, but I've had no one show work with the number line so far. So I'm guessing that's not your favorite strategy. So let's look at the blocks. So over here in the step in, it says Nancy has $216 in her savings. If she buys a skateboard, how much money will she have left? How could you figure it out? So her total amount is 216 and she's going to buy a skateboard for $32. So to figure out how much she has left over, we are going to have to take away 32. And then if we take a look here at the blocks, this is just a really good way to show you what doing it with blocks would look like. Okay? So our little raccoon friend said, I would use blocks to show 216. I would have to regroup 100's block as the tens block. Then it's easy to figure out. So the raccoon took this 100, crossed it out, and put 10 tens blocks because it's hard to take away three groups of 10. Let me use a different color. It's hard to take away three groups of 10 from one group of 10, right? But now with 11 groups of 10, taking away three groups of 10 will be really easy, right? 1, 2, 3. Took away my tens. I have to take away two groups of 1, 1, 2. And I have 100 block. How many tens blocks do I have? 8 tens and 4 ones. Okay? That's how we would solve the step in with blocks. If you prefer to write it the horizontal way, you can do that as well. Let's take a look at the green step up section. So it says use blocks to help you subtract, then write the difference. You might not have blocks at home, so you would just have to draw your blocks. That's perfectly fine too. Draw a big square for the hundreds, like this. Draw just a stick line for 10 and a small square for 1. Okay? If you would rather do it by setting it up vertically, so for A, it would look like 245, take away 38. You can do that as well. But of course, you're not going to have room just on your journal pages for all of these problems, so you're going to need a new piece of paper. If you could take a picture of your new piece of paper that you use to show your work and submit it in your portfolio too, I would love to see it. That's all you're doing for the green section. Same thing over here for number 2. You do not have to use the number line if you don't want to. Use whatever strategy you want to use. You might even have room to show the strategy in the white space, okay? Don't need to use the number line though. And then over here on the step ahead, I'm going to change it a little bit. The directions say solve the problem using blocks, then show how you would solve the same problem on the number line. Instead of showing how you would solve the problem on a number line, I do want you to show how you would solve it another way. But instead of using the number line, I would like you to set the problem up vertically. So our problem would look like this. So we have 235. Take away 27. Lining up my 10s, lining up my 1s, and then solve it. Okay, I would really, even if that's not usually the strategy you use, it wouldn't hurt to try it, especially if you know the blocks so well and you can get the answer that way. You can just use this way to check your answer. So if we take a closer look at the blocks, it says we have 235, and they did the regrouping for us, okay? We didn't have to regroup our 10s because we can still take away 27 from what we had. We had to regroup our 1s, so they traded in 1 10s block for 10 1s. Our number over here is still 235. It's just easier for us to take away our 27. Once you cross out the blocks, write how many hundreds there are, write how many 10s there are left over, and how many 1s are left over. And then that's your answer. And then down below, show it using another strategy. If you'd like to show it using a number line, you can if you want, but we haven't worked with that very much, so if you'd like to show it using our writing it vertically, you can do that.